Hey y'all, my name is Annie. Welcome to my channel, Eat, Drink, and Be Reading. I think I'm gonna attempt my first vlog. We'll see if I actually do it. But I'm gonna do a reading vlog for Sense and Sensibility. I have started it already. I am like 80 some pages in, but it's like 500 pages long, so I have a ways to go. To be fair though, the first, 20 to 30 pages were the intro and background, because my copy that I have has a guide to reading and reflecting by an English professor, and she talks about kind of some of the themes that you see and the history and background of the author of Jane Austen and of the time, to make sure you can understand the jokes and the satire, because it's satirical, and kind of understand where she's coming from when she's writing this, who she was as a person, and just, we understand a story so much better when we understand the time and place it was written, and because I think that impacts our not mine, but it impacts an author's writing, whether they intend it to or not. I'm also a big history person. I was a history major in college. I used to teach high school history, and so I'm going to say that the time and the place matter for an author and what is written. But yeah, so it's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to you moms out there, and I am getting some alone time this Mother's Day. I kind of feel a little bad about it. I'm like at this park. We had a park like on the street, because you can't actually park in the parking lot. Yay, quarantine. But the closest people are 20 or 30 feet from me. And all these like families are having picnics, and I got some ice cream, which I already ate. I should have shown it to you. I brought my book and like our camping chair, and I'm sitting in the sunshine reading, and it is lovely. Maybe if it was a different year, I would be doing like a picnic with my family, but as a stay-at-home mom in quarantine, getting a bit of a break is kind of the perfect Mother's Day treat. And what is more of a treat than getting to sit and read in the sun? I don't think there's anything. So I'm enjoying the book so far. I'm really glad I read that intro. I think that it is, well, I'm sure as I'm reading I'm going to forget a lot of the stuff from the intro. I think it is helping me understand, like, there are a couple jokes that she mentioned in the intro that I've already come to. That got cut off because my husband was FaceTiming me. My 5.5-year-old got stung by a bee in her backyard. It's her first bee sting. Which, is not that surprising because she's 5.5. I am 30 and I've never been stung by a bee. And my husband apparently got stung as well, trying to get the bee off of her. So she wanted to talk to mommy, which, of course makes me feel like great that I'm not home. But daddy's got it under control. Probably better he was there, because since I've never been stung, I don't fully know what I would need to do. Well, apparently she's not allergic, just stung. And I don't remember what I was talking about before. Probably should have watched that video before starting back up, but this is a vlog, so I think it's okay. Was I talking about the jokes? Gracious, guys, I don't know, but I'm excited to read it more. It's a classic and I love it, but it's not quite to the point where I feel like I really want to keep reading it. It's really easy still for me to kind of set down for a minute or two. Little Women, I felt like that I read in March and April. Yeah, I feel like I could have was happy to pick it up and read it all the time, and so I'm hoping that we'll get more so as this is going on. We're just meeting what I think is one of the main love interests in the story, but I'm also a little nervous because I know it's satire, and I don't know how it's gonna end with that. And well, I'm excited that it's satire. I I do also like happy endings for romances, so we'll just see how it goes, and I will check in later. I'm gonna enjoy the sunshine here. I will, let's see, how can I turn this around? Does it not let me do that? It doesn't let me do that. I will just show you, just sitting at a park. They're like a very empty soccer field because of coronavirus. In a literal like fold out camping chair and enjoying the sun and the book and Mother's Day. See you all later. Thea, what are you doing?
Cooking with Daddy.
Why are you cooking?
Because for Mommy.
Oh, thank you, my little chef. Hey,
Yes.
what are we doing right now?
Having Mommy and about time.
Yeah, we are. Do we
Yes.
like Mommy Annabelle time?
Yes.
Yeah,
We love.
yeah, we do. What happened to you today?
I got bit by a bee.
By a carpenter bee?
Mhm.
Yeah. Did it hurt?
Mhm.
Yeah. Are you okay now?
Mhm.
Good. Hey y'all, I'm now cleaning up dinner. I wanted to show you more of it. It was jalapeno, honey, garlic, shrimp, and roasted asparagus and pepper and some bread. We had some leftover asparagus and some leftover like good bread from Mother's Day yesterday, so I wanted to use that tonight. And I was going to show you more of making supper and eating supper, but it became a crazy night. We didn't finish until like 15 to 20 minutes into bedtime, so I had to let it go. And now I'm gonna finish cleaning. I will try and check in soon. I think I might get a little reading done tonight. My husband won a big case for work today, and he's gonna do like a virtual like cheersing with some of his team. So hoping to get a little bit of reading, although he may want me to join that. So we'll just see. Bye. Hey y'all, I just wanted to pop on. I had a minute. Michael, my husband, is on a work call this evening. We just put the kids to bed. It's like 7:45-ish. We have a Zoom call with some dear friends who are gonna do like a gender reveal for their second baby tonight. I think it's a boy. Their first was a boy. I think they're gonna have a second boy. That might just be because I have 3 girls, and so I just assume everyone's going to have multiple of the same. But I am about almost halfway through Sense and Sensibility. Oh no, it got like food on it. Well, and I'm gonna read a little bit before that call in about 45 minutes or so. My husband has his book out too, so if he finishes that call, but I give him like 2 minutes before he's just on his phone. Anyway, I am sitting outside. I have a glass of one of our favorite reds, kind of like a weeknight red that we enjoy, and yeah, on the backyard because it's beautiful out. North Carolina has had a wonderful spring this year, and I've loved every minute of it. But you're not here to hear me talk about that. You're here to hear. That's hard. You're here to hear me talk about Sense and Sensibility, and I'm trying not to compare it to Little Women because two different authors, two different countries, like it's very different in a lot of ways, but it's also a classic, and it's about women, sisters, families. So far, when I was like this far into Little Women, I was loving Little Women so much, and I'm really enjoying Sense and Sensibility. So far, I'm not liking it quite as much as I liked Little Women. I think I was telling somebody in the comments about that I feel like Little Women was a very much a character study. I think I said that in my April wrap up. And this feels more like a society study, which is still very interesting. But I think I like the more personal level. And you're hearing the same few people over and over again. But for some reason, I feel more removed from them than I felt from the sisters in Little Women. But I still have like 250 or 300 pages, not quite 300 pages to go. Yeah, not quite 300 pages to go. So plenty of room for this to go from like a 4 to a 5 star, or to go down, which I hope doesn't happen. So yeah, we'll see. I will let you guys know how it's going. Bye. Hey y'all, it's getting dark outside, so I'll try to wrap up this vlog really quickly. I did just film this way, which was like way worse, like super dark. But it's much better when when I'm facing the light. So, I just wanted to close out my vlog for Sense and Sensibility. I just finished it. I was like trying to take my time on the last few pages, but I wanted to finish it outside. It's just getting dark. I am drinking a glass of Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand. I like it. We opened the bottle because we were having fish for dinner, and I wanted something to sip on while I was reading, so I poured a small glass of that. It's not as good just by itself, but that's kind of how I feel about all white wines. I much prefer them with food, which is how wine is intended to be drunk. Oh gosh, that was terrible grammar in English. So Sense and Sensibility, I really enjoyed it. I feel like it was a pretty easy read. I have this copy with like a guide to reading and reflecting, and there's also like footnotes on the pages to explain what some of the phrases mean that we don't use anymore. So that definitely helped and made it an even easier read. Highly recommend this copy. The guide to reading and reflecting is done by a English professor named Karen Swallow Pryor. I will say she's a Christian, and there is a section of the introduction that is about reading Sense and Sensibility as a Christian, knowing that Jane Austen was a Christian and that she would have probably had some themes having to do with following Jesus in her books. But you can, if that's not of interest to you, and like just the background and understanding the history of this book, like there's only a few pages that were about the whole Christianity thing. So highly recommend this version. It gave me such a better understanding, and there were points where I literally laughed out loud that I don't know if I would have totally gotten the joke if there hadn't been the introduction. But that is the first thing. Like, this book was pretty funny. Like, I genuinely laughed out loud at parts. But I think the reason that it gets a 4 instead of a 5 is that there was really only one character, maybe two characters that I really liked. And one of them already was kind of settled and married, kid, happy life, like, great. He was just very kind. And missed, like, John Middleton was his name. But, and then I really loved Colonel Brandon in the story. I thought he was wonderful. And so I was really invested in his happiness. I didn't care as much about the rest. I think the hard thing is that Eleanor and Marianne, who are the two sisters the story is about, Jane Austen wrote them to be like a caricature. One who is all sense, all reason and logic, and ignoring any feelings. She has feelings, but ignoring them and always going with what she's like, with her thoughts in her mind and what is most prudent and best. And then we have the opposite in Marianne, who is all sensibility, who, I mean, there were moments where she would just like almost be fainting. She's like overwhelmed with emotion, and you're like, what? And it's intended to be that way, and just how overcome with she would be with her emotions, whether it was joy or sadness, and just how every decision she made was based on those. And of course we get to the end and they both kind of see the importance of having both sense and sensibility, but because they were written as caricatures, like, and written to an extreme in a lot of ways, I had a much harder time really caring for them and investing in them. I wanted to see them happy, but if we had gotten to the end and they had both been single, I think I would have, like, I wouldn't have liked it as much, but I would, like, it wouldn't have changed the experience all that much for me. And that's okay. Like, this was not intended to be a romance necessarily. It's more of a study of society at that time, more of a satire of the romance stories that were written, and just the kind of romantic ideas that were going on during that time. So all that to say, I really enjoyed Jane Austen's writing. I want to read more. I bought Persuasion. I'll probably read that later this year. I've heard a lot of people say that one is their favorite. Fewer people who say Sense and Sensibility is their favorite. I chose this solely because it is the Jane Austen that Karen Swallow Prior, Professor Prior, has done. And so she also has done Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad, and there's a few more coming out. So I'm just kind of more in the mood for female authors, from like classic books by female authors lately, so I haven't picked up Heart of Darkness. But I'm going to wrap this up because it is dark, and I just talked a long time about this briefly. Guys, what's happening? I can't speak, apparently. But I mean, I would recommend it, but I would recommend making sure you read it and understanding it's supposed to be a satire and not a romance novel. That way you can laugh and enjoy it, no matter how you feel about the characters. Alright, that's it, guys. Y'all rock. Be sure to like and subscribe. And I don't know how many more vlogs I'll be doing. Let me know if you enjoyed it. If there's other things you'd rather see in these. If I do more in the future. Yeah, I'll show you my dog. There's Darby. My kids are asleep, but I think they'll be on other parts. Oh my gosh, it got even darker. I gotta go. Bye.